When I came across this diagram in Michael Porter's article, What is Strategy?, I knew that I had to create something similar for myself, for my own business. This is a map of IKEA's activity system, but to understand its importance, first we need to go back to some of the key principles about strategy that Porter shares. As I sketched out in a previous video, Porter suggests that there are 3 key principles behind a good strategy. The first is that strategy rests on unique activities. So it's about the things that you do, not your plans, not your vision statement, and about how those activities are specific to you, specific to your organization. The second principle is that a sustainable strategic position requires trade-offs. You need to be explicit about the things that you do and equally intentional and explicit about the things that you don't do. IKEA does modular furniture. They don't do intense customer service. And the third is that fit, how those activities fit together, drives both competitive advantage and sustainability, with the 3 tiers of fit moving from simple consistency to reinforcing to the optimization of effort. So, strategy is about the unique activities that you take on, those that you explicitly don't, and how well those you do take on fit together. And that's why a map of your activity system can be so useful. It identifies the key activities that you take on and how well they're integrated with each other. So for IKEA, it's about limited customer service, self-selection by customer, modular furniture design, and low manufacturing cost. I thought I would try to create a similar activity system map for my own business, Verbal to Visual, where I teach the skill of visual thinking, which is where you sketch out by hand diagrams and drawings as a learning tool, a problem-solving tool, and a communication tool. And here's what I came up with. I came up with 3 main categories of the activities that I take on to help others become visual thinkers, to become makers of models. And those 3 categories are community building, frequent inspiration, and curriculum depth. Let's start with the curriculum, because that's the primary product that I sell. Within the Verbal to Visual curriculum, I teach you how to make models. Every lesson within that curriculum contains a model that I sketch out by hand as I communicate both the mindset and the methods that will help you develop the skill of sketching out useful drawings and diagrams. I teach by example throughout that curriculum by making models that help you learn about the world of visual thinking and providing activities for you to take on to develop your own skills. Next, let's take a look at these 2 activities here that relate both to the depth of the curriculum and the community building that is an important component of the online learning environment that I've created. Within that online learning community, I host weekly live workshops, some of which relate directly to the models and the lessons within the Verbal to Visual curriculum, others of which are more open Q&A to hear about the projects that community members are working on, to answer their questions, and to give feedback. I also support and promote asynchronous sharing within that online learning environment so that community members don't have to wait for those weekly live workshops to share their work, to see what others are up to, and to have meaningful conversations about this world of visual thinking. And those 3 activities of developing the curriculum, hosting workshops, and encouraging the regular sharing of work and discussion of interesting questions, those all feed the frequent inspiration bucket that rely on 2 means of communication, YouTube and an email newsletter. I'm leaning into YouTube more than ever right now by making shorts daily and long-form videos at least monthly in the form of visual book summaries. But really it's more frequent than that because I'm making videos like this one, where I'm sharing my own work or the work of others within the community and pulling out ideas and lessons that I hope are useful to you on your journey as a visual thinker. And then I've got the email newsletter that I send out weekly that tend to focus on one main story with suggestions for how you can apply that story and the lessons from it to your own work. I feel like there's a pretty good amount of integration here because of how the short form and long form videos, as well as the email newsletters, are generated by examples from the curriculum, stories that come up in those weekly workshops, and conversations that happen asynchronously within our online learning platform. And my hope is that while these 3 could all live in the marketing category, which is part of their purpose, my hope is that they also strengthen the things going on here, that they play a supportive role for folks going through the curriculum, that they highlight the interesting stories and lessons from those weekly workshops for those community members that weren't able to attend live, and that they all support the overarching goal of my work, which is to help you become a visual thinker, to make your own models. So let's do a quick check of whether or not the activities that I'm taking on align with the principles that Porter shared in this article. First, am I taking on unique activities? I think so. There's lots of people on YouTube that do book summaries. Not a ton of them make visual book summaries, and I think no one quite does it in the way that I do. So I think there's a little bit of uniqueness there. I also think the stories that I'm sharing are fairly unique because they come from our own learning community. So they are stories and examples that aren't being shared elsewhere. And I'm pretty confident in the uniqueness of the verbal to visual curriculum as well, because of the collection of models that you'll find there and the way you get to see me sketch out all of those models from a blank page to a full one. Now let's take a look at this second piece of we do this, we don't do this. I've talked about the things that I do. I'm slowly becoming more confident in the things that I don't do, at least right now. And those things are writing books about visual thinking, being a guest on podcasts, speaking at visual thinking events, and even doing custom visual thinking workshops for organizations. There's nothing wrong about doing any of those things, but I'm finding that by taking them off the table, it allows me to put more time and energy into these activities here that I'm more committed to. Now let's take a look at the quality of fit amongst those activities. Are my activities consistent, reinforcing, and do they optimize effort? I think so. The primary drivers are the workshops that I host once a week and the visual book summaries that I create ideally once a month, as well as how those relate to the models within the verbal to visual curriculum, which I developed over the past year and are now up and running. Now I'm sure there's room for improvement here, because even if these activities are unique to me, I'm making intentional trade-offs and I've got pretty good fit, there's still the element of the quality of each individual iteration of that activity. And this is what Porter calls operational effectiveness. How effective are the workshops that I host each week, the YouTube shorts that I make, the longer form videos, and the email newsletters. But what I found to be helpful about creating this map of my activity system is that it gives me enough confidence in my strategy that it checks those 3 boxes that allow me to move from strategic planning mode to the doing of the activities themselves. My goal is to not have to worry about whether or not I'm doing the right activities, so that instead I can just focus on doing those activities well. So for now, at least, I've got a strategy that I'm excited about that I think has the potential to work well. And now for the next number of months, I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm spending my days and weeks. And I think that within 3 months' time or 6 months' time, I'll have a definitive answer around the effectiveness of this particular strategy. And I'm open to shifting it in the future. What won't change is this right here, that my work, the activities that I take on every day, are directed toward this goal of helping you become a visual thinker. Because you've got your own books that you want to read and remember, and you've got your own interesting problems to solve, and you've got your own interesting ideas that you want to be able to communicate well to others. And I hope you find that the activities that I'm taking on and the work that you see from me actually does support you in those endeavors. And if you are in the process of developing your own strategy for something that you're working on individually or a strategy for your team at work, give this a try. Map out your own activity system and then evaluate it based on those 3 key principles that we learned from Michael Porter. I appreciate you watching this video. I wish you luck in the development of your strategy. And if you'd like to dive deeper into the development of your own visual thinking skills, check out the resources at verbaltovisual.com. I'll see you next time.